Today on Very Delta, that bloody Tayce is here. We talk about stingrays and house cats. But first, do you want to see me go off? Because I think you want to see me go off.
Oh.
Mom!
Are you a lady like me? Introspective, beautiful. Oh, are you intellectual like me? Beguiled by a bargain? You like wild times? Oh, like me? Are you serving the community like me? Well, if you are, then you must be very Delta. I'm Delta Work, and this is Very Delta, a luxury public access podcast and YouTube talk show where I look gorgeous, speak extemporaneously, and invite fascinating people to sit on the couch and get very Delta. Very Delta is for the woman who knows when one door closes, she simply opens a courtyard window and yells, "Egoist! Egoist!" But first, let's get into some things that are very Delta. I think it's time that we revisit my complaint about HomeGoods because it's grown. It has exacerbated. It has gotten crazy this brat summer. HomeGoods is not a safe space. I thought it was. I thought HomeGoods welcomed all and all were welcome. And I think that is true in theory. And I think that's what HomeGoods as a company wants us to believe because they believe it. But the people who shop there think absolutely opposite. And when I say the people who shop there, I'm talking specifically about sort of like these cis moms, wives, people who are off during the day. They come in, they pull their kids along with them, and they just wreak havoc. Because I go in shopping and I am excited about the prospect of seasonal items, maybe a piece of art that's on clearance, just something to sort of up the game at home, something that's fresh and exciting. And they are in there looking at me like, "What are you doing in here, gay?" And I'm like, listen, there's even gift cards over in the gift card section with rainbows on them. There are gay things here. There are skeleton pillows with 2 grooms on them. I'm welcome there. Why are you bogarting this place? Why is it like we've gone into a place where we're not allowed? HomeGoods is not a safe space for the homosexual. And we have to understand that. I think we have to not just understand it, we have to reclaim it. It's actually not a safe space for anyone who is not a mom with kids in tow, with a coupon, and just there to sort of take up the space, not just that they need, but the space that they want. Um, First off, I mean, moms who let their kids wander around in the store. I mean, it's 2024. Anything and everything is not just possible, but probable. I'm telling you right now, these people that go in there are scrapbooking. They are getting ready for thematic birthday parties. They're doing all of that, right? So they have their kids with them. And I don't know why. It's not just HomeGoods, but specifically at HomeGoods. They just let their kids wander. And they're like, oh, let me look through these Ray Dunn bowls. Let me look through these expressions by Hallmark. And they're looking through everything and they're like, Ashley, stay right over here, baby. Ashley, Brinley, Peyton, Braxton. Now don't be bad. When we leave here, we're getting an ice cream. And they're just like looking at all this shit. The kids are wandering. I was there the other day and I was waiting at the front of the store and my shopping companions were all the way over here and I could see them sort of all the way down one aisle that ran from like the food and the oils and then past framed art and then all the way to the bathroom, right? So I was standing over towards the side. I'd put the cart back. We weren't buying anything because there wasn't shit in there. So I'm waiting over and I look and I'm watching this lady's kids and I'm watching her and I'm watching the kids. And all I could think is like, I thought these were your prized possessions. I thought these were like the most important thing. I thought this was your king and your queen, right? Isn't that what you say? Oh, my king Aiden or whoever. Like, really? It don't seem like you're holding court at all. I feel like they are just wandering off. And then what's going to happen? As soon as something happens, it's going to be the store's fault. As soon as somebody kidnaps that kid, you're going to be, oh, I was at the store and all I was doing was trying to get decorations for their birthday. No, you weren't. You were worried about yourself. You were letting them wander because you believe that it's everybody else's job, right? You pushed your cart in there and you decided you were going to block the aisle because, of course, as soon as you go into that aisle, nobody else can share that aisle. You have to pick through and move things and throw things and put them all over. And then whatever you've discarded, everyone else can come through and shop through when you're done. Right? And you're going to just leave the kids wherever. And then as soon as you're done, you're going to go gather your kids who've been opening packages, pulling down feathers, putting flowers in their hair, trying to open up food bags and bottles of balsamic vinaigrette, like just all over, just wreaking havoc. Because why? Because it's your space. Because there's no consequence, right? There's no consequence. Oh, hi, baby. Did you find balsamic vinaigrette? It's like, come on, this is not because you go into a store and there's cameras and you are a paying customer, doesn't mean that the store is responsible as a babysitting location. It's not a nursery. It's not the drop off. It's not like as soon as you're done, everybody that's been in the store putting up away towels and putting bottles up here are looking at your kids going, oh, hi, Brinley. Oh, hello, baby. Oh, make your way down and walk wherever you want. And then the next person's like folding clothes going, it takes a village. We have to watch everyone's kids when we're working here. It's not our job just to put away towels, but we have to watch this lady's children. What is that? I really the sort of like this idea of everyone takes care of me is really a privilege for a certain type of person. I mean, really, if you look at it, if you look at who's doing that, it's only one type of person. It's not every mother. It's a certain type of mother. It is a certain type that believes privileged. And then as soon as you call out that privilege, they're like, my life is not privileged. I've had a really hard life. No one is saying you haven't had a hard life. What we're saying is that you have all of these privileges and you take advantage of them. And then as soon as it all falls apart, then it's everybody else's fault. Everybody else's fault. Sometimes we ask, why are the prices more expensive in here? Well, maybe because your ratty kids rip everything apart and then that has to go into the cost of everything else. But you stand out and you're like, I used to come to this store and everything used to be such a deal, such a value. All these trashy, it's not trashy people. It's you. You're the trashy people because you're letting and I don't blame the kids. I'm not mad at the kids. I've talked about the kids on the airport and hi, baby, and all of that stuff. It's not the kids. The kids have no way of knowing. It's you. It's you going in there. I see you. You show your face all the time when you scoff and you scowl and you look at something and you go, I need to ask for another one. It's like these people that go up and go at Ross asking for what boutique service? HomeGoods boutique service. It's not a boutique. No one's going to call and go, oh, let me see if we have a Michael Kors purse for you at the Rancho Cucamonga Ross. Let me call from Downey. It just doesn't work that way. If you want that service, go to the Michael Kors store. And by the way, love Michael Kors, but it's not the biggest floss if you have that. Like, just stop. You know what I mean? Stop with it. It's a purse. They're all purses. It's fine. But this idea of like, well, I need this kind of service. My kids aren't bothered. My kids are angels. That's my king. Your king? What? I don't think so. They look like a jester, and so do you. A fool. A boo-boo, the fool. Walking into the store, really? And then, by the way, I said it before, and I'm going to say it again because it hasn't stopped. With the Starbucks cups, putting it in the cart, shopping around, and then just leaving it on a counter. That is so foul. But again, it's that privilege of like, well, I shouldn't have to. I'm a paying customer. I'm so tired of hearing that. I'm a paying customer. Everyone's a paying customer. That doesn't mean that you just take a crap in your hand and throw it against the wall. Okay. It doesn't mean that everyone's responsible to babysit your children. I didn't. You begat those children, not me. Okay? That came out of you. That's an extension of you. Would you let yourself just wander around aimlessly, possibly to get hurt? No. Then why are you letting that happen to your children? Oh, those are my babies. Those are my angels, my Brindley, my Braxton, my Peyton. Really? I don't think those are your angels. I think that was just a reason for you to have a reveal party. You don't value them that much. If you valued them that much, those little shits would be right next to you the whole time, everywhere you went. When I was growing up, and I say it because it should apply now and it should apply at all the time. I was right next to my mother. And if I ran off, I had a pinch underneath that arm that said, wait till we get home. Wait till we get home and see what happens. And then the whole time, oh, no, 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 no. I'm going to be good. 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 Nothing was going to happen because she knew that I was in not fear, but respect of this. There was a reason. And these parents are like, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's cameras everywhere. So what does that have to do with anything? So you find out that, oh, now we know who killed your kid. Great. They're still dead. They're still missing. And you don't care because you need to look at Ray Dunn bowls and go, oh my God, look at this salad bowl that says salad on it that I paid $6.99 for. That was on such a price rollback at HomeGoods that was originally, I don't know, $7.99. You saved a whole dollar on it. But your kid's missing. Get yourself together. Watch your kids. Throw your cups in the trash. Stop looking at the gays, by the way, and being like, why are you in here? We're in here for the same reason that you're in here. We want to have Ray Dunn bowls, possibly, that say salad on them. So get your grimy hands off of them. Mamas. We're tired of it. It's supposed to be a safe space. I'm this close. I'm this close from knocking someone over with a shopping cart. I'm so tired of people wheeling their cart in like this and then just blocking it. And then I'm like, oh, hi. Oh, could I squeeze in? You know, make yourself small. Could I squeeze in? Could I get in? And they're like, oh, don't hem and haw at me, bitch. I'm the master of hemming and hawing. Do we want to play that way? I don't play fair. I don't play fair. I'm not just bigger, I'm louder. And I'm not just louder, I'm older. And I have more insurance. Do you want to see me take a break? Because I think you want to see me take a break. Today's guest is a fashion killer who loves blood.
Ooh.
You know her as the lip sync assassin from RuPaul's Drag Race UK Season 2. It's Tayce.
Hello. Mama, no, thank you for having me. Like, you don't get it. I literally have this on in the background, on repeat, over and over and over as I'm like doing anything, making food, soaking a spliff, living my life, doing the dishes. You're on in the background. So for you to have me here today, I'm very grateful and thankful. So thank you.
Well, I'm very grateful because I know that while you're in town, you're very busy. You have a lot of stuff going on. In fact, as soon as we're done here, you're basically on a plane and gone.
Off to New York City for some more gigs.
Yeah.
And then back to London.
How is that going for you?
Oh, I love it. I love coming to the States. I come, honestly, far too often. I honestly feel like I gig internationally more than I gig in London.
Really?
What am I now? 4 years on from my season. And I'm still going strong as I was on my season, so I'm thankful for that. But I hardly perform in London anymore. It's always New York, LA, Australia, anywhere but there.
Yeah.
But I love it.
You love it.
I love gigging.
When I think of you, I obviously think of a supermodel, of course.
Oh, thank you. Merci.
Fashion, which you absolutely love, and you have a lot of viewpoints with what you portray to other people, right? And we were talking off camera about this idea of when we meet fans, enthusiasts, supporters, whatever we want to call them, especially at DragCon, where you got to meet
Yes.
tons of people running around. And they, as much as there are supporters, there's people with these weird opinions,
It's
right?
so intriguing because it's like you'll have online, in person, you'll have these people who follow you, and it's like they're not living for you, but they still follow you. Like, you know, they're kind of haters in that kind of respect. Like, I'll see people who are so appreciative and grateful to meet me, and then you have some people who are like, oh, I love you, but like, what is that you're wearing? Or like, oh, why don't you have hip pads on? Someone commented on my post of my look that I wore for DragCon day one, and they were like, yeah, I love the hair, love the mug, but what is this fabric? Or like, you need to build your legs out a bit more, or you need to have like a hip and tit illusion. And I'm like, well, no, I don't. And if I wanted to, I would. It's just not my vibe, you know. Not everyone is the same. Not every drag queen is a cookie cut, you know, silhouette. Some people build themselves off the Nicki Minaj's of the world, tits and ass. And
Sure.
some people, the Naomi Campbells, like myself, you know, I'm a model. It's it's what I've always loved. It's what I've always aspired to be. And that's not necessarily boom, 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 boom. You
Right,
know, it's more
right,
like, so I'm like, yeah, if you don't like that and it's not for you, that's fine. But then why are you all up in my grill following me for? You don't
mhm,
have to. I'm not forcing you.
right. And especially when it's not just the outfit or the wig, when it's commentary on someone's body
Mm-hmm.
or what are you eating or how are you doing that, I find that so interesting because I feel like in the world of inclusion, which is so important, there are a lot of people that are excluded because people think you don't have any, there's no problem.
Right.
You're so thin. You should eat more. You should do this or that. And it's like that's still a slap in the face. And it's
Yeah.
also a weird thing to be
If I was saying that to someone
consumed.
who was bigger and it was like saying like
Right.
lose weight, it would be a whole other kettle of
Absolutely.
fish.
But for someone to come to you and say your body is not where it needs to be
No,
as
like
well, it's the
crazy.
same slap.
Like literally saying, "Oh, you need to build your legs out more." I'm like, well, how am I meant to do that? That's
Right.
my legs, you know.
Right.
It's like it's wild,
It's so
wild.
weird. They are villains, but not the type of villain that we like.
No,
Right.
they're not a super. They're
Yeah.
basic.
Exactly. What makes the perfect villain for you?
Oh my god, it has to be um a mixture of that bad bitch energy,
Mhm.
fashion, and also like a maniacal humor. I was raised with like my absolute favorite person in the world is Grace Jones. And I
Mhm.
love that juxtaposition of beauty, like feral beauty, and then also this like carnal personality that you're kind of like scared of. You don't know what's going to come out of their mouth, but they're also such a sweetheart, you
Right.
know? Like you're not
Right.
actually a villain, but you might portray that in the way that you look, but you're actually a hero.
Yeah.
That's what I've always loved.
I feel like as soon as I started following you on Instagram and watched your pictures, and then we engaged a couple of
Mm-hmm.
times, I was like, I think it's time for I love James Bond movies, and I
Mm-hmm.
love the progression of the change of James Bond, the possibility of Jane Bond,
Yes.
and I love the music. So I'm putting out there already, and I've been putting this out for I feel like 2 years now. I feel like the next Bond theme needs to be performed by Janelle Monáe. Or maybe Dua
Yes.
Lipa, but Janelle Monáe is my
No,
number
Janelle.
one
I
because
think
she's
Janelle.
so sexy.
Yeah.
But I could see you being the James Bond character in and out of drag,
Oh, I
right?
would love to do
Don't you
something
see
like that.
yourself doing that?
Oh, definitely. I've always wanted to be in a film. I've always wanted like Kill Bill's my favorite film. I've
Okay.
always wanted to be like a villain in a film.
I see it. And just as you said, like when you ended it with like, but you love that character. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. It's like you don't really fear that character. You are intrigued and you
Yes.
respect that
Mm-hmm.
character. I think you would be like if they brought somebody from the drag race realm, I think it would have to be you. Like for
Mark.
sure. Don't you think?
Casting directors, let's
Listen,
go.
you have a supermodel and actress. They can do this in and out of
I'm
drag.
kind of giving Barbarella vibes today as well.
Yes, and that's the superhero part is they can transition the in and out of drag so
Mm-hmm.
fast. That's the superhero
A
power.
chameleon.
Even though
A
James Bond's not a
shapeshifter.
superhero,
No.
still kind of.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be
Oh,
sick.
we got to make that work. We
Yeah.
got to get into the executives.
Would you incorporate blood in some way?
Oh, definitely. I don't know what it is, the fascination that I have with blood. I think it's just like when you see I used to love like have you watched that movie Hostel?
I
And
love
there's that
all of
scene
them.
with the girl and she's cutting up that bitch and
Uh-huh.
she's like bathing in it. I was like, this is
There's
like
something about it that's erotic,
yeah.
stylish,
Mm-hmm.
referential.
And I've always loved vampires.
Okay.
Like when I've always loved like vampire movies, Van Helsing, like the Van Helsing's daughters, like the
Uh-huh.
gorgeous ethereal looks, the beauty, but like scary beauty.
I
You
love
know, like they
that.
can just look so good. And then Katrina and Vamp, like creme de la creme.
See, now they might have to put you in the next interview with a vampire. I mean, that's
Baby.
possible too.
I'm down. I'm
Everything
ready.
is possible, if not probable, I think.
Exactly. If you just believe, you can achieve.
Ooh, say it again. Say it there, though.
If you just believe, you can achieve.
I live for that.
Put that on the bottom.
We should put that on the bottom, and then we should use that for very Delta is for the woman who believes and achieves.
There we go.
I love that. Tell me about Swagzilla.
Oh my goodness, Swagzilla. So I always wanted to do music, always. But when we did the music video, that in my head was what the fantasy was all about. It was just such an amazing day. And it was sort of choreography, blood, very like Blade, blood shower scene, fashion, cars, metal. And it was just a passion project of mine. I just want to get like a fat EP out, start with that.
Mhm.
And different vibes. I love music that sounds a bit different, a bit like ethereal, a bit hyper pop,
Mhm.
like Charlie XCX, a bit like Brat Summer, that kind of vibe.
Brat Summer. We've been
Mhm.
talking about Brat Summer, have we not? Like
Your
we
glasses are giving Brat Summer,
Are
actually.
they?
Yeah,
What is it? I don't
just a
even know what all
tad.
the components are. Like I feel like it's open to interpretation for sure.
I think it's like unapologetic, messy, but glamorous mess. Not be afraid to get a bit dirty, not be afraid to have a bit of a hole in your tie, or a
Sure.
nail might have come off, or but you're still yanked and you're still gorgeous. And it's about a feeling, a vibe, having a good time, and not giving a.
I love that. See,
Mm-hmm.
it's interpretation.
Yeah.
It really, really is. It kind of includes everything. And I do think it's that freedom to I feel like not everybody has that ability.
I think some people, and in the drag world as well, I think some people want to be so, so polished to the point where it's like, are you even having fun
Mhm.
anymore? Because you're just so like 24/7. Don't get me wrong, I like to look gorgeous and things, but if a lash is a bit wonky one day or like something tears, it's not going to ruin my night. It's not going to ruin my event. It's like, well, keep it moving. Life goes on.
Right. Right. I think that's a beautiful part of your message anyway. And I think people will get that takeaway if
Hmm.
they just watch you and listen to you and see what you present, is the fact that you do hold that space for everyone's different style, everyone's
Yes.
different way. And it's that idea of saying, this is how I do it, and you do it your way and do it
Yeah.
100%, and that's
And I
fine.
won't judge you on how you do.
Yeah.
There's I think a lot of, yeah, queens as well in that same regard I was saying about how people like to hold themselves to a certain caliber. That's all well and good, but then they will kind of read other people where it's like, oh, they had a couple of drinks before they got to the gig, or oh, they did this, or oh, they did that. It's like, well, I'm having a great time and I'm still doing my job and I'm doing it flawlessly.
Right.
So you do you, and let's keep it at that.
I love that. I love that. And it just shows in the way you conduct yourself.
How are you at a gig? Are you a party girl at the gig?
I'm not.
No?
I'm an old lady. I mean, I think I've always been that way just because um I've always been concerned about everybody else starts drinking and I'm
Yeah.
like, who's getting us home? And then I'm also that person like if I'm out of town, as
Hmm.
soon as I get back to the hotel, I'm like, start packing, get
Oh
everything
my,
together,
yeah.
make sure it's laid out. Those are my clothes I'm going to be wearing. This is the Nutri-Grain bar. This is going over here. Like make sure you have a bottle of water, make sure there's a tip for the you know what I mean?
Oh
Like
my
I
God,
have
you're
to like
meticulous.
I have to because I'm afraid I'm going to miss something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, because I've met,
I need to be more like that. See, I'm chaotic. I'm all over the place.
but we
Like,
need to be like, we could, there's things I could learn, you know what I
hmm
mean? From one another
yeah, I
in,
can
in
learn
a
some
way.
organization from you, and
I
you
just
can
want
learn
to
a
be
bit of.
free
You can just learn some
sometimes.
feralness from me.
I love that. Brat Summer.
Brat Summer, baby.
Let's take a break.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes, queen.
Woo!
Yes.
Ah!
Let's go.
I feel
Wow.
like my throat is clear now.
Right there we go. We're
Right.
ready to rock and roll, baby.
We
Rock
need
out with your
that
cock out.
with the whole thing out.
Why not?
I mean, feel like that is very bratty. It's,
Rocking out with your cock out.
it's very bratty.
Definitely. Let it swing, baby.
We are back with Tayce, and we are rocking out with our out.
Yes.
It's Brat Summer,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how we feel. This is kind of a weird transition, but I just feel like it's
No,
interesting.
go for it.
After 4 weeks of filming Drag Race UK season 2,
Mm-hmm.
you all took how long of a break?
7 months.
How do you go from like
Ugh.
back into it?
It was wild. So we literally filmed episode 4. We just came off the main stage, and then all of a sudden, as we're talking, about to get, okay, let's get on the drag.
Sure.
That moment, these sirens go off. It was quite dramatic. I think they did it on purpose, but it was kind of gorgeous in a way. All the sirens went off, the lights dimmed a bit, and we were like, oh, what's going on? And then the cameras were cut dead ass, and then all of the CEO, production, crew, everyone came in and were like, so yeah, COVID, it's a real thing, and
Wow.
we gotta go. But hopefully we'll be back like in a month or two, maybe a few weeks, because no one really knew how long it was gonna go on, obviously, at the time. And that was in April, and then yeah, we came back in November, and then we came back and finished off the rest of the show.
Wow. Did it
Crazy.
seem like, did you feel like you had new eyes when you came in a way?
Definitely, like, yeah, new eyes, a new outlook on the show. I think it's kind of like, we went home and you kind of get to sit there and reflect on everything that you've done and how you be perceived, and you kind of think, okay, how am I gonna go back now and play this game and switch it for my benefit?
And then you now later had the opportunity or were asked to come
Mhm.
back for Canada versus.
Yes, I was asked to do UK versus the world,
Okay.
Canada versus the world.
Uh-huh.
And I turned them both down because at the time, I think the first offer was a year after I came off, and the second was 2 years or maybe three or something. And I just didn't feel ready yet.
Mhm.
I kind of feel like there's this pattern sometimes with some queens where they've just come off their season and immediately they're on an all stars again. And it's like,
Mhm.
I just saw you 7 months ago, mama. Like, I want to see, like, go around the world, travel, like update yourself, learn some things, grow, and then maybe like update your style a bit and then come back and like give me something. I want to forget about you for maybe for like 3, 4 years and I'm like, oh,
Right.
okay, let's
I see
go.
what you've been up to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's interesting because I do feel like there's definitely this far out, there is the business of Drag Race.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there are queens that go on the show that after like an All Stars or whatever, or a tour or a Vegas or
Mm-hmm.
whatever a brand partnership, whatever it
Right.
is, they find themselves in the business of Drag Race because I think there are people who are really great at drag
Yeah.
and then people that are great at Drag Race.
Well, it's like, yeah, some people are amazing drag queens, but might not have the charisma or the social skills really to convey something fun like on the show. Whereas some people, it's their shtick, it's their thing. They know how to command a room, they know how to work a camera, they know how to
Mhm.
give production what they need. But
Right.
we're also in the same vein, not laying down for production. You have some times where it's like, you've got the shady elves, I like to call them. They come in your
Mhm.
ear like, oh, say this to so and so and say that to
Oh,
so and so.
sure.
And I'm very much like, I'm not doing that. I'll say what I want to say. If I want to go and be that mess,
Right.
I will, because I wanted to, not because you wanted me to.
Right.
So
Because sometimes it's very like, you're doing this and you're like getting ready for your thing. And I'm like, Taste, what was your coming out
like,
story?
and it's like, girl, like I have like an hour to get ready. The time frame is not long to do your makeup. And it's like you're taking time out of my makeup time now just so I can go and ask about, how you nearly drowned in the ocean.
Taste, what was it like the first time you had sex?
I'm like,
It's just weird
yeah.
because you're like, this is not,
It
I,
doesn't it's not authentic.
especially
If I wanted to
considering,
ask it, I would.
yeah.
And I will in my own time.
And what we do, like so much of what we do, because it's artificial hair, it's artificial this, there is the inauthenticity already existing.
Mm-hmm.
So at least the one-on-one conversation, and that's something that I do feel about you, and I do feel about a handful of people
Mm.
is in or out of drag, I'm going to get the same opinion, the same thought process, the
Yes.
same loves.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people that are like, well, when I'm in drag, I'm this person, and I'll hold the space for you to do that.
Right.
That's not me.
No, I totally agree. Like, I think obviously that's whatever strokes, different strokes for different folks. But I have never felt like drag to me was necessarily an escape. Like,
Mhm.
I've always said I sashayed out of the womb. I've always
I
been
love that.
this flamboyant, loud, chaotic character. And, when some people they get in drag and they turn into a bitch and they might be like a shell of a person behind that. I've just
Mhm.
always been like, well, this is just me, but I have a bit of slap on my face.
Oh, I so agree with that. I
Mm.
really, really agree with that. I was having a conversation. Well, I have this conversation a lot with people who say, um, you don't have to be in drag for this appearance or that appearance. And for me, I feel like the people who follow me or support me
Mhm.
will more likely pay attention to the things that I do and say if they see me in drag
Right.
because I've only cultivated that.
Mhm.
But there are people like yourself as a model. Um, people I do, and I think a lot of people look at models specifically at confidence.
Right.
And so you project that in and out of drag because you allow
Yes.
people to see that. That's an
Mhm.
invitation that a lot of people, I think, do take lightly, and they should not. They
Mhm.
should not take that lightly because it is a free lesson in professionalism, in confidence. Do you
And
have you
self-confidence as you as a person, like, from how you wake up in the morning. It's like, if I can be like that in and out of drag, you can too,
Yeah,
and you don't have to it shouldn't take drag for you to be all the things that you wanna be. It should be if that can help you a little bit, great, but I,
right.
like, totally take pride in my
Yeah.
appearance in and out of it because I think you should. It's how you command the day. It's how, like, you get up in the morning, you know? If you feel good, you look good. I'll go to the airport in a fabulous look because I just feel like everything just goes a bit better when you dress
Mhm.
nice. You know,
Mhm.
people talk to you a bit differently. They give you this, you know, they give you a pass a little bit because
And
you've
you
put the
love
effort
it.
in.
And you love it.
I see it as boy drag and girl drag,
Yeah.
you
And I
know?
guess that's true when Rue says, like, "You're born naked, everything is drag." It
Mhm.
really is.
Yeah.
You really do convey a message to people in what you're wearing. I feel like when I'm out of drag, my message is, "Don't talk to me." Uh, people are like, "What is that?"
Calm
I'm like, "Yeah,
down.
leave me alone." No, I
Mhm.
like talking to people. Do you enjoy talking to people because you just do it
Oh,
effortlessly?
it's who I am, it's what I do. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I think some people have, a perception of someone who has a certain look where they might be a bit of a or something like that, but I will talk to anyone and everyone, and I can talk to for hours about everything, you know?
Yeah.
I love that, like, looking good is amazing and stuff, but I think you gotta have the chops and the personality to back it up, you know?
Mhm.
But, yeah, I'm that girl, I'll be at a party talking your ear off in the corner for hours.
Yeah, have you always been that person?
Always. Talk, 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 I love
Oh, I
it.
think it's fascinating. I think you're
Mhm.
fascinating. You're so
Thank
interesting
you.
just because you really have this confidence about you that I don't think anyone can fake. You
And
just
I hope that I
can't.
can give that and it can, my confidence can bounce off onto someone else who I might be talking to, and it might get them to, "Oh, okay, I
Right.
can do this."
Right. When you're not in front of people performing, modeling, talking, doing any of those things, what do you like to do to sort of unwind? What do you like to do to shut the door and not talk to people?
Oh, honestly, eat,
Uh-huh.
eat, smoke, watch you. Literally,
Stop.
I'm very, like, I think what's that term people say, like, an introvert, extrovert? I don't know if I'm an extrovert, introvert, but I do like my alone time as well at the same time. I'm
Mhm.
very, very social and very, very outgoing in that way. But I will also, like, after touring with something, I'll be at home for a week and I won't answer anybody. I'm like, I
Yeah,
need my
you have to
time.
do that.
I need my space. And I just honestly do nothing. I sleep in. I watch my favorite shows. I eat my favorite food.
What are some of your favorite foods?
Oh, honestly, like the fastest food I can get. I love McDonald's. I love my Burger King. I love my KFC. I love coming to America and trying things I've not tried before. What did I have the other day? Dal taco.
Okay, what did you get and what did you think? You
I
could
just,
be honest.
no, I loved it. I
You
loved it. It
did?
was, to be honest with you, I just had the original Dal
Uh-huh.
taco, and it tasted the exact same as Taco Bell. But
Okay.
maybe there's other things on the menu that are like that differed to Taco Bell. I love a Taco Bell too.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, I'm a taco girl.
The thing about Mexican food, fast food Mexican food, is there's
Hmm.
really only about 5 ingredients, and they just take shape differently.
Does it make you shit your pants? Because everyone keeps saying, "Oh, Taco Bell make you shit your pants." I never had that problem.
See, I knew this was gonna happen. I knew this question was gonna come to me. We were having an elegant professional conversation, and she wanted me to recount what happens to me
Yeah,
in public.
let's go.
Actually, I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I don't think that it's ever been Taco Bell or Del Taco.
Mm,
I don't know, but it has happened to me once.
mm.
Um, at least once away from a toilet.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. The fast food here, like the chains that we have in the UK as well, the food is just exponentially so much better flavor-wise. Like Taco Bell here cuts
Okay.
through space and time.
Wow.
London, boring. Like you even have you've got this obsession with the slushies, the frozen slushies, the 7-Eleven big gulps, like the drinks this big. We need that. We need that in London.
You need
Come
it.
on.
You need it.
I want a slushie the size of me.
Oh, wow.
You
I
know?
love that.
Let's do that. Let's
Have
make
you
that
ever thought
happen.
about getting inside of a massive slushy and drinking your way out?
Ah,
Wouldn't that be
what a
it?
fantasy. I mean, the brain freeze would be off the chart.
That is brat
Full
summer
body
for
freeze.
sure.
Oh, definitely. You
Because
can
you
have a
would be
nice green
dressed.
one.
You would
Yeah.
be dressed.
And then it's like kind of a reveal, you come onto the runway, just as a big gulp, and then all of a sudden,
Ooh.
it's me.
Right. And I see you with your legs out, just a shoe, right? Like this.
Just like
Can
that.
you
Just legs
imagine the
out.
Tayce slushy?
I'm just like,
Uh-huh.
wasn't that fabulous?
Hold the space for the flavor of Tayce.
Yes, taste the
I
flavor.
taste the flavor.
Taste the flavor.
That's
Taste
what
the
I'm
biscuit.
talking about.
Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
What is a food you think? I mean, I've been to the UK a couple of times. I've been to
Mm-hmm.
Wales. I went to London twice.
Mm-hmm.
One time, I try to share this story with people just because I love this story.
Yeah.
I went with Rue and we went to shoot the Pirelli calendar,
Oh, nice.
which is like the sports car
Yeah.
company, right? And it was a retelling of Alice in Wonderland with all Black artists.
Oh,
So Naomi
wow.
Campbell, Whoopi Goldberg, Rue was the Queen of Hearts. Anyway, there was a ton of people, but the director was Edward Enninful. And
Oh,
I know, and
icon.
I was supposed to do these hair pieces, and I did them, and then he came through to look at everything, and I was like, oh my God, that's Edward Enninful. Like, I was dying,
Yeah,
right? And he
legend.
came over and he looked at everything, and he was like, oh, these are beautiful, they're lovely. And I said,
Mhm.
thank you. And he goes, she's gonna be wearing a hat. And I was like, oh my God. So I tell that story all the time just because that's like one of my takeaways was like
Mhm.
not knowing that you're gonna run into a celebrity that
Right.
maybe not everyone else knows. But when I get to tell it to somebody who does know who that is,
Mm.
it's a gag because I'm like, we never know who we're gonna run into.
No, but when you meet someone that you admire, like say a major celebrity, like, are you like a massive fangirl? Like I've always had this running joke of if I saw someone that I loved, if I saw Beyonce walking down the street, I'd just be like, hey, do you want a
Right.
cigarette? Sorry, we say in London. I've said to my friends here, they're like, what'd you call me? I'm like, no, a cigarette. And then
I called
did,
you by your birth name.
yes, but then I did run into her at a fashion show. I was
Really?
walking, and we did this Noir fashion show in New York Fashion Week. And I walked, and then before we were all lining up to go onto the runway, and the designer Raoul, he was so nervous, and I was like, "Are you okay? What's going on? Like, also, thank you for having me. You know, I love you." And he's like, "Come over here." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "You know, Beyonce and Jay are out there, right?" And I'm like, "What?" Like 2 seconds before I had to hit the runway, and I'm like, "Okay, cute." And then I do the show, obviously looking straight forward. I could sense that where they were, peripheral vision, but I was like, "Okay, pump it, turn it, and burn it." Finish the show. The after party's like in the room where the runway is. And my friends own the venue. They were like, "Oh, come upstairs up to the top, to the rooftop, let's have a drink." Goes upstairs, have a drink, and we go up in this big cargo elevator. And then I leave from having my drink, get back in the cargo elevator, and just before it shuts, her bodyguard, security comes like, leave the door open. And I'm thinking, no, you're not serious. And
Right.
Beyonce and Tina walk into the elevator,
Oh
and
my
it's just me and my
God.
friend and them, and I just stood there like, I'm not even going to say anything because I'm not like, because I don't think that's what they want every day. You don't
Right.
want someone just like, oh, it could be draining, I'm sure. So I just thought, I'm going to stand here, I'm just going to play it cool. And she turns and she went, "Oh, you were in the show, you killed it." And then her mum was like, "Yeah, you're so beautiful." And I was like, "Thank you." And then the
Wow.
doors opened and I left. I just turned around and said, "Just by the way, icon," and kept it moving. And then my
Oh,
friend was
that's
like,
so
"Why didn't you
cool.
take a picture?" And I'm like, "Because I just think it would have tarnished the moment a
Uh-huh.
little bit, just make it a bit like
You have to keep
funny."
something for yourself sometimes.
Yes, just
Yeah.
keep it cool. Like I said, Miss Cancer the and just play it cool. Don't be all like uncool.
I love that
Just be
share
cool.
because that's kind of how I felt in that moment. I was
Mhm.
like, I'm here in a professional capacity. You've asked me to do this. Really, you're just talking to somebody who was doing a job and you were being
Yes.
polite.
Mhm.
I took that as that's a really beautiful thing that his knee-jerk reaction was just to be nice to me.
Mhm.
This is a person who's doing a job. I'd like to pay you a compliment, let you know how you're doing, how I see your work.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a nice day. And I thought, well, what a beautiful person because we don't see that. Sometimes we see people just being gross to employees.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like so even like some fans, even with drag and stuff, some people can just be out of line, or like, I'll be in the club and you've always got like brunches can be like that a lot. You got the hands, I like to call them. You got the hands, you got the drunk hands,
Uh-huh.
and they're just feral. They're spilling shit all over the place. Someone's being sick in their friend's hair. Someone shat themselves. Someone's eating the shit. Like it's a whole thing.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't do it all the time, but sometimes you do
When
find
the
me
mood
doing
takes
that.
me.
Right. It's Brat Summer.
Brat Summer, eat
You talking about the fast food, I say I've been to the UK a couple times. I've always had decent food experiences
Mhm.
because most of my memorable foods are I'm trying to remember the store. I want to say Tesco.
Tesco's, the
Okay.
supermarket.
So there's the like sandwiches already
Meal
made.
deals.
Oh, I was in a cream cheese and chive sandwich. I'm on board.
Mama.
It's so simple.
So simple but effective.
Yes.
Do you know what? There was one that I've never understood. Egg and cress. Have you ever heard of that? Egg and cress
Egg and
sandwich?
watercress?
Yeah, like the little leaves, like the little sprout-looking things.
I may have had it, I think. I don't know.
People make them in the little tubs with the sun and they sprout.
Uh-huh.
Like, what flavor is that? Like, nothing. Gross.
Yeah, leaf. Just a leaf.
Yeah.
It would be different if it was an herb leaf because then there's
Mhm.
a flavor to that, right? It's a seasoning in a way.
Mhm. What's your favorite kind of sandwich?
I like a roasted chicken something, but I really liked the cream cheese. I think it was like cream cheese and chive. I think that's all that was in
The
there.
texture.
Yeah, I love
There's this
that.
place that's opened up in UK called Donuts, but just spelled like DOH anyway. And they have this thing called a dagel, and it's a donut, a savory donut with all the amount of like sesame seeds, the thousand seed. What do you call it? Like everything bagel.
Like an everything bagel.
It's got all of that on
Okay,
top, salt and pepper, and then inside the filling is cream cheese.
but it's a donut.
It's a savory donut with
Wow.
cream cheese in the middle.
Do you
Blow
love
your
it?
mind. Love it. Can I have like 3 of them?
Have you had a cronut?
No, I've always
Okay.
wanted to try one of these. The
I think they're good.
The flakiness, the texture, darling.
I think they're good.
I'm gonna have to find one here today before I leave. Do you know where the one is?
Probably, honestly, any donut shop, any
Oh.
strip mall donut shop is gonna have one.
When we live in big cities, like the takeaway stuff, like the Uber Eats, the delivery, it's everything. It's amazing. I'll do gigs sometimes, and I'll be somewhere, and it's like, 1 in the morning, and there's like one thing open or nothing. And you have to
hate it!
and you have to have it because
Yeah.
you're hungry.
Yeah.
But oh no, I want options. Give me options.
See, that's why I insist that I stay in a hotel that's like not like a 5-star. I want
No.
like a regular hotel
Mhm.
that I know is going to have a microwave and a refrigerator.
Oh, mama.
Right. So when I get there, if I order something, I can order a salad and put it in the refrigerator because at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
there's not gonna be anything to eat.
No, there's no cutlery in there. There's no nothing.
Nothing.
One time I did a gig and got a McDonald's at the end of the night, and then went to was in a hotel room, and it was cold. My burger was cold, so I heated it up with the hairdryer.
Stop it.
Yeah, I just said that.
Are you being for real?
I'm being so real. This is like when I was 18. It was like the pre-Drag Race gigs, like
Uh-huh.
years ago, and it was snowing out. It was like somewhere in went to the club. I had it in my bag, like all the food, and I got back and I was like, I can't wait to heat this up. And I went thinking it wasn't one in my room. I'm gonna go downstairs. Can you heat this up for me? No. I'm like, okay, well, thanks for your customer service,
Yeah.
darling. I'm gonna do this myself. Walked up to the room, where's the hairdryer? Got it. Just sat there and let it burn. Let it burn, mama, for like a good 5 to 10 minutes, and it was gorge. Cheese
was
melting and
fine.
everything.
It
Yeah,
was fine.
bit crunchy,
But, you know.
texture.
We I didn't have a fork. I don't do it anymore. Now I
Mhm.
have a plastic bag. I told you I'm a mom
Mhm.
sometimes. I have a
Wasn't you having
plastic
some
bag.
with your brushes sometime?
You already heard this
Yes,
story.
oh, I've heard. I watch. I know,
Did
mama.
I say the same shit over and over. That's why I don't know why they allow me to be here. Honestly, you know what? Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
We are back with Tayce. We were talking about like fast foods, fun foods.
Mhm.
You have literally done campaigns for Coca-Cola
Mhm.
and Heinz Beanz.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite, and would you do them again?
Oh, well, I love Heinz Beanz. Heinz Beanz on toast. It's really one of my favorite comfort foods of life. I don't know if it's a Welsh thing or like a universal thing, but I've just always been raised on. I wasn't like rich or anything growing up. It was kind of like council estate vibes, and we would always have, the tinned, the alphabeti spaghetti, the beans, and then my grandparents would always not have the beans straight out of the tin, but you have to add like butter, ketchup, salt, pepper. Warm it up in the microwave, put it on top of your buttered bread. Then you get your grated cheese, put that on top, put more salt and pepper on top of that, and it's just melts in your mouth, darling. It's
I love
gorge.
that. I love
So when I
that.
did Heinz, I was legitimately gagged, and I think people thought I was like trolling. I'm like, oh no, I love this. I love
Like
this.
for real. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel
And
that.
I think one nice juxtaposition, Jean-Paul Gaultier, Heinz Beanz, gorge.
And especially when you're 100% behind the product.
Oh,
Why
definitely.
can't you be?
You have to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if someone who's just endorsing something they don't believe,
Yeah.
You have to believe it to achieve it. Oh, and I
Mm.
achieved it.
Very Delta is for the woman who knows that you have to believe it to achieve it.
Now clock that T.
Wait,
before we go on,
tell me.
I just have to say, I love when you do that, and I always love when you do your you ready to see me go off? Because I think you want to see me go off. I watch your every time you do that, I get it on my phone. And so when I do my stories of like doing my makeup and getting ready, that's the first story that comes up.
Stop.
And then it's me looking gorge.
Stop.
So thank you for that.
Thank you. We'll do it in here.
Do you think you
That's me about 15 times. Is it
Here we
not?
go.
I always think I'm doing it and I it all up.
Do you think you want to see me go off? Because I think you want to see me go off. It's
so
the eyes you
good.
do. It's the
It's so
ah.
good. It's
The
so
the the oh, the
good.
ebbs and flows gets me because I think you want to see me go off.
I
Oh, it's
live. Just
fabulous.
use that from now on. We can skip that part.
Oh,
Well, this is the part of the show called Read Me Delta. As you know,
read me, Delta.
people send in their letters, questions,
Not my first time with the rodeo.
queries. You know how it goes.
What letter opener do you have today?
Today we have this one.
Oh,
which is
gorgeous. Oh.
Dear Delta and gorgeous guest, I'm a server at an upscale dining restaurant, and it's my job to box people's food for them at the end of their meal. 9 out of 10 people will let me do it and not think twice about it, but that other 10% will absolutely refuse and ask to box their own. Would you let someone box your food in the back for you? Sincerely, Very Gold Hammer. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I think people should do that more. We don't have that in London a lot. I don't think. Anytime I always take a doggy bag home. Always, because my eyes are bigger than my stomach, and I love to eat and I love food. And wherever I go, I want a bit of everything. If I'm going to a fast food place, I want the chicken option, I want the beef option, I want the fish option, I want the
See,
cheese
I love
sides,
this
I
so
want the
much.
potatoes. You know what I mean? So if I go to a restaurant, 9 times out of 10, I don't finish the food because I'm just a tiny little girl. I'm just a
Right.
tiny bitty little thing. But I love it. So I will always take it home, and every time I ask, can I get a doggy bag, whatever, they come over and they just chuck the fucking boxes on the table. They're like, here you go. And I'm like,
Mhm.
hello, you served me, you've done your job, continue doing your job, take the
Right.
food back, box it up, and bring it back to me, por favor. You know what I mean?
Please,
Yeah.
please. I love service. I have no problem tipping for all the service in the
Mhm.
world.
Mhm.
I feel like, especially being people who do do receive tips very often, I have no problem with that. I'm a lazy person. I will box up my own stuff, but if they offer to do it, I will absolutely
Yeah,
take that.
like, it's not a problem it's not a problem really if I have to do it myself, but
Right.
I would if someone says, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna take it away for you," I'm, like, pleasantly
I wish
surprised.
more would do that.
Yeah, I
I wish
just think
that
you
would.
should, like, give me the service from the minute I sit down to the minute I leave.
Well, and that's why I think the point of this question is like, would you trust someone in the back? And I do, because I don't treat the servers like even
Thank
if I have
you.
problems. If you treat them like your concern is they're going to spit in your food.
Yeah, but why would you? You don't treat people who are like managing
No.
your food like crap.
No.
But also, like, who is going to restaurants like cheating service like shit anyway?
Right.
Like, who are you? Obviously, you're a piece of shit if you're doing that. So you deserve to get your food
Right.
spat on or like in or
Yeah.
spunked on. You know?
I'm going to unscrew the bottle of salt and pepper at your table.
And also with the tipping thing as well, that's something I'm still trying to get together over here because it's such a thing, like
Right.
in the service industry. And I never understood why. Is it because like the pay is not really giving, so they need?
It's gotten worse, I would say, in the past like year or 2 years. It's gotten, and when I say worse, it's definitely because of that, because companies don't want to pay a living wage,
Right.
and they know that customers, consumers, just citizens are going to feel bad for other people because they do want to continue to go and have a good experience.
Yeah.
So they figure, well, you're going to tip more for it.
I forget sometimes how much of a thing it is, and you have to give the right amount if you want to be respected. So it's just like navigating that and figuring it out.
It's also become weird because now there are so much service where half of it is you doing the work and then the other half is like maybe somebody handing it to you.
Yeah,
And
you
they're
kind of
like,
think like, well, what am I tipping you for?
even at the
You're just doing
airport,
your job.
you will
Uh,
self-service. It'll say,
yeah,
did you want to do 25%?
yeah. I'm like,
And
for
you will
what?
engage with no one.
No.
No one.
You go somewhere, hi, yeah, can I get a bottle of water? Here you go, yeah, tip.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not bent over backwards. You didn't do a cartwheel and hand it to me. You didn't
Yeah.
spin around, kick, split.
Yeah.
No.
Kick split.
Slam on the puss and then give me the water. You just gave me a glass of water. What am I
Right.
tipping you 700 quid for? Makes no
Right.
sense.
I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to, I don't want to not tip.
And don't look at me like I'm a freak just because I gave you, a little 5% tip for a little glass of water that you handed me.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but
No, it's not
I'm
just
still
you.
figuring it
It's
out.
just
One day I'll
everyone.
get it down.
It's just everyone. Dear Delta and Tayce, if you could be any animal for a day, what animal would you be? Where would you go? What would you do?
Oh.
I can't wait to hear the answer. Hugs and kisses. Love, sincerely, August from Ohio.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, if it's all about where would you go, I think the only answer would be some kind of bird, because then you could fly all over and go anywhere, really. But I've
Uh-huh.
always loved reptiles. I've always loved to be a snake. I think I'd be a snake. I used to own 8 snakes, so I have such an affiliation with them.
Yeah.
I used to own two praying mantises, like that,
Mm-hmm.
snakes, leopard geckos, giant African
A
snails.
chameleon.
Yeah, I had a chameleon, a Yemen chameleon. So yeah, I think I would be a gorgeous anaconda.
Okay.
Let's go with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I think this is an obvious one for the gays, but a peacock.
That's
But wait, do peacocks
beautiful.
fly?
I don't know if they do. Maybe they
Someone
just
find out.
hop
Do
a little
peacocks
bit.
fly? Hop.
They
Hop's
like
given a
hop. They
gem.
like go like that a little bit.
Oh, flamingo. A flamingo. Let's
That's
say
beautiful.
flamingo, because they're gorge. You know, they have their little light color, the dark pink color. They look lovely. They fly. Yeah.
That's pretty.
Or maybe some kind of like giant atlas moth.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I like that.
How about
I
you?
would probably be something a little more tame. I would probably be a type of house cat. And I think it's always interesting when you see like very fluffy house
That's what I
cats,
have.
or is that what you have?
Like a Himalayan Persian
Oh,
mix.
what's your cat's name?
Patricia.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I always would if I got very, very crazy on a night out and someone's like, "Oh my God, girl, you blacked out last night. You were wild." I'm like, "It wasn't me, it was Patricia." I always say that.
Your alter ego.
Yes, my alter ego is Patricia. So when I got a cat, the first thing I thought was, yeah, Patricia.
I love that.
And then I'm
A
gonna
lot of
get a dog, a big like white, fluffy kind of dog, and I want to call it Priscilla.
Oh,
Priscilla and
get a
Patricia.
Samoyed or something. Yeah, that would
Just
be beautiful.
I love the dogs just absolutely massive. Like look like a horse. Like I've always wanted a Great
Yes.
Dane or something like that.
Yes.
I'm not like a little yuppie dog person.
No.
No, I want a horse I can almost ride.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I want to get a dog. I want to get 2 dogs.
I just travel too much to have a dog. A
Yeah.
cat works. I have a house, my bestie I live with, so at least one of us are home. And a
Mhm.
cat is a bit more self-sufficient than a
They
dog. The dog
are.
is legit like a baby.
Yeah, I always feel like a cat is self-sufficient, and that's why I think my answer to this is a house cat, just because they like to lounge. They don't
Mhm.
like to do too much. They don't like to be too bothered. But also, I find that big fluffy cats or cats that are just kind of like chonky or whatever
Yeah.
will surprise people, because even though they seem lazy, out of nowhere they'll do something really spry, like jump on the refrigerator, and you're
Oh.
like, how did your ass get up
And it's
there?
always like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll be in
Yes.
bed and it's like there is a fight going on in my living room. I'm like,
Yeah.
I opened up, Patricia, what the are you doing? She's just running back and forth across the room on the zoomies.
And they'll surprise you because you'll think, I didn't think you were capable of that, but they are. And they're like, I'm just going to show you when I really want something. I
Well,
like that.
it's
So a
just
house
they
cat.
want to perform for a little bit of food.
I love that you love like snakes and sort of creatures that other people are afraid of. I personally, although I do have an apprehension to like insects and stuff like that, I just think it's so weird that people's reaction to animals or creatures that they're afraid of is to try to kill them or
Yeah.
swat them. And I'm
Well,
like, they're not gonna hurt you.
that makes no sense to me. Like I used to work in a reptile shop.
Uh-huh.
Like when I was like 16, so I'd like clean out the cages and things like that. So I was always like getting used to them. Like I'm kind of scared of spiders still. Like
Mhm.
it's not my favorite kind of animal, but I would
I
never.
don't want to hurt
You know, you have
it.
some people in the house like, the spider, get it. I'm like, no, like put it outside.
It's
Get it
just
in some tissue and put it outside. Like, why are you trying to kill it for? Like,
why? It's
I don't
not.
even swat a fly really, but
It's
it's
so
just like,
scared of you anyway, and it does.
mhm.
It's minding its own business.
Yeah.
It's just a weird reaction when I see people do that. I feel like you can tell so much of the way people react to an animal, how they're going to react to a person.
Yes.
Especially in that situation. Yeah, I think. And where would I go if I was a house cat? Nowhere. From one couch to the other.
Oh, okay. I take it back. I want to be a stingray.
Oh, where would you go?
Just explore the whole ocean because we've not seen it all.
Right.
I love stingrays. They've just got such a vibe. I go to this the Cayman Islands
Mm-hmm.
maybe once a year, once every other year, and they have Stingray City, Stingray Islands. It's like these sandbanks, and there's like hundreds of stingrays, massive big things.
Wow.
And you get in the water off the boat, and you can feed them, or you can you put your hands out like this, and they will come and they'll just lie on
Like
you.
be
They
on
just give you a
you.
little hug. They give you a little smooch. They
Oh,
lift up the
that's
little flap. They go,
beautiful.
and I just love them. They're so silky and gorge. But everyone's so scared of them because of the Steve Irwin thing.
Right.
Like I put up a post with one, and the amount of backlash that I got. Oh my God, this is so insensitive. Think of Steve Irwin, think of Steve. And I'm like, well, this is a different kind of stingray, and I'm not antagonizing the thing.
Well, there's also car accidents. I'm not gonna not get
Not
in a
get scared of a
car.
Jeep,
Right.
mama.
It's funny you mentioned Steve Irwin because I follow Robert Irwin on social
Mm-hmm.
media, and it's so I guess just being raised with Steve Irwin, and when you see that
Yes.
visual every time he pops up, I can't not sort of get emotional for a second
Uh-huh.
because while he's his own man, I do see his dad,
Yeah.
right? And we were also attached to Steve Irwin,
Mm-hmm.
and he seems just as gentle as his dad,
Yeah.
as interested, as smart, as informative. Their whole family, like, it's
Gorgeous
just so
people.
exciting. Yeah, and
The apple doesn't
beautiful.
fall far from the tree.
Yeah, it doesn't. It
Mhm.
doesn't. And he also did a fashion show, and he's gorgeous too.
Oh,
He's
yes.
gorgeous.
So we've got a house cat and a stingray.
That's what we have.
What a combo.
Basically, that actually could be a movie
It
in
really
itself.
could. A series.
Yeah.
The house cat and the stingray.
Yeah.
It could be a gorgeous book.
What are some there's like Tom and Jerry. That's a
Cat and a mouse.
right. Who are some other people?
Dog, cat and dog.
Dog Cat.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Pinky and the Brain.
Pinky and the Brain. There was a TV show back in the day. They're not animals, but it was called Jake and the Fat Man.
Oh,
We could be Jake and the Fat Man.
let's do
Obviously,
it.
I'm Jake.
I'll be the fat man.
Okay. It's perfect. You're an actress and a model.
Oh, thespian.
Yeah.
Ingenue. Method actress, darling.
What did you call me? Oh, a lesbian. Thespian. That's a lesbian. Do you think a woman, a lesbian actress would be a lesbian?
A lesbian, yes.
Lesbian or lesbian?
Lesbian has a better ring to it. Rolls off the tongue.
It does.
And I think
It
lesbians
rolls
like
off
that.
the tongue.
Oh yeah,
It
baby.
did a
And
lot of
lesbian
tongue.
likes it to roll off the tongue.
Thespian.
Lesbian.
Thespian.
Lesbian.
Homosexual.
Homoslesbian. Homoslapian.
Thank you for being here.
Mama.
This is so fun.
Thank you a million times over. Like, I'm gagged. I'll be gagged after this. Honestly, like, I love you so much. I watch you
I adore
nearly
you.
every single day, even episodes I've already watched. Also, congrats on like your over 100 episodes.
Yes, thank you.
Mama.
Oh my gosh,
It's
thank
like,
you.
what, 103, 102? I don't know. You do a lot of these.
I mean, I don't do math.
Mm-hmm.
It's not math summer.
We'll figure it out later. It's Brat Summer, not
It's
Math
brat
Summer.
summer.
Your ABCs, baby, and live your life. I love you so much.
I love you. What was the quote again? If you
If you
girl, we
if you
fucked it up.
believe it, you can achieve it.
If you believe it, you can't achieve it.
Oh, not unless you're wearing a toe ring.
A toe ring.
You said that. You said it one day. You said the very gentle woman is never afraid of a toe ring.
Oh, you know.
And I
what is
literally-
true.
I didn't laugh. I was eating, and it was just in the background, and I just went, "Cause yeah."
Would you rather
Yes.
have a
So
toe ring
niche.
or an anklet?
Ooh, I think an anklet because my toes are disgusting.
Really?
My mum always said, "Tayce, I love you, but you've got horrible feet." They're just long and like feral. You know, they're like
Well, that's good
they
though.
are literally the fingers of my feet.
Do they come off of your shoes a lot?
Yeah, we can't really find to see right now. But
No, not now.
They're just long and knuckly,
I think people,
bony.
I think people get a bad rap for having their toes come out of their shoes because it
I'm just
happens
like,
to every single
they're
person.
toes. What's the big
Especially when someone's
deal?
walking in a shoe like that, your body is projecting forward.
It's the only way it can go.
What are you supposed
Who
to do?
walks like this?
Nobody.
No.
Well, the wrong people.
Yeah, it's called
Right.
gravity, mama.
Right.
Slip and slide, take a ride.
What if you were forced to wear flats with that outfit? And would you do it? And how would you prove to people that you were confident?
Oh, well, it wouldn't be in the walk, let's say that, because I'd be walking like a frumpy mess, you know, like
Right.
just flat-footed McGee.
Would you be so mad if you were forced into catalog modeling? You would be so mad.
Argos, just living my life with a blender.
Beanies and weenies modeling.
Oh, well, I'll have to be a good thespian about it and see what happens.
You are. You are. Thank you so much for listening and watching Very Delta. Our show comes out every Monday. Subscribe to Mom Podcast YouTube channel and turn on your notifications so you never miss an episode. Search for Very Delta on your favorite podcast apps to listen to the audio-only version if you can't handle all the toes hanging out of all the shoes visually right in front of you. You can also sign up for premium offerings on Mom Plus Gold by visiting mompodcast.plus, where you get weekly episodes of more Very Delta. Don't forget to send all of your questions to readmedelta@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram @DeltaWork. Where can people follow you?
You can find me on Instagram at It's Tayce, ITSTAYCE. Twitter, the same, although I'm barely ever on it. And that's about it, really. I'm not a TikTok girly like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, It's Tayce. Google it and see what comes up.
Yeah, that's where you can find. We'll see you next week, and until then, keep things very Delta.
Ciao. I'm so gagged.
That was so fun. Very Delta is produced by Moguls of Media, aka Mom. Hosted by Delta Work. Produced and edited by Doug Robertson. Technical direction by Margot Padilla. With original theme music by Will Pitts. Media and design support by Stone Cold. And set design by Eris Sevilla. Executive produced by Alaska, Willem, Big Dipper, Camille Stennis, and Joe Cilio. Recorded at Forever Dog Productions. I'm working late because I'm a prostitute.
Mom!
To listen to Very Delta ad-free, 1 day early, and to get access to more Very Delta and all of Mom Podcast's premium content, check out Mom Plus Gold at mompodcast.plus.